Welcome back to Business and Leisure. This week we have another proud Pinoy entrepreneur who enjoys Philippine mangoes as much as his Philippine roots, which he only recently discovered. This young man is now making his mark in local communities with a proudly Filipino product for which he is largely responsible.
Brian Benitez Macaliland has only been in the Philippines for 7 years, but in that short time, he has immersed himself so fully in the culture and ways of this country that folks in the rural communities where he can be found have embraced him as one of them. Brian is now a more familiar face here as he has made a name for himself with the emerging popularity of the bamboo bike, which he helped create.
I started out as a volunteer for Gawad Kalinga, helping with a sustainable community development program. And then we recognized the need for sustainable livelihood development. So that's what got me interested in building bamboo bikes with rural villagers to create what's now Bambike.
This Filipino-American so wanted to create sustainable livelihood for the communities where he served and felt that creating something as Filipino as bamboo and as useful and functional as a bike could spell a difference for the needy communities. And thus was the bamboo bike born.
This is modeled after a project which I saw in Africa. There was another livelihood project that was going on there. And I thought that it was very applicable to the Philippines because we have the bamboo raw materials, we have skilled people within the woodworking craft, and we also have a large population that needs jobs sustainably.
He built his first bamboo bike in 2009, and for some time that was all he had to his credit, one bike. He found that working on his dream was not that easy. First, there was the language barrier. Although his mother is a Filipina, he only had short exposures during summer or Christmas vacations in the Philippines. Not quite enough to learn the nuances of the Filipino language. By this time, though, he has learned enough to communicate with a skilled craftsman who helped him build bamboo bikes.
Pwede na. I mean, araw-araw kailangan mag-practice, pero I'm glad to be able to communicate with the people that I work with and then more people in the country.
Aside from the language barrier, there was also the unreliable supply of bamboo to reckon with, and finding the right bamboo under the specifications required for the bike was not easy. So Brian researched on the different species of Philippine bamboo, of which there are at least 70, and the different methods of treatment for bamboo.
So we set up our Bambike workshop in the town of Victoria, Tarlac. That's in a Gawad Kalinga community. And we have set up our 6 full-time builders there with all of the materials and equipment that they need to manufacture the bikes in their own village.
For a volunteer like Brian, coming up with the right investment was also a big challenge to hurdle. In terms of bringing in the technology, he already incurred big expenses. On top of that, he had to secure the different raw materials and had to incorporate Bambike in 2010.
But for the most part, we bootstrapped the company. My brother is an investor in the project, so he's one of our co-founders in that sense. But at this point now, we've done a lot of research and development and certification, which adds to the costs as well.
Depending on the specific species, Brian sources out his bamboo from different regions in the country, but mainly from Luzon. Because of the unreliability of supply, they are now working on building bamboo nurseries and also working with some communities in the north, in places like Abra, for instance, to have more bamboo suppliers.
So we have somewhere around 70 species of bamboo here in the Philippines. And maybe a handful of that is really good for structural purposes. What we don't have, though, are enough large plantations or areas growing bamboo. So it's one of the projects that I'm working on advocating for, that we really have a large national greening program where bamboo is a big focus. We need to, I think, look at bamboo as a really important agricultural product that can really develop into a world-class industry. At the moment, it's more of a bahay kubo industry. So we do need to invest time and money and land into growing more bamboo for the country.
We have bamboo growing in most parts of the country, maybe even in our own backyards, but this is one plant that many of us have taken for granted for so long. In fact, no one else has ever thought of fashioning a utilitarian bike from bamboo.
Initially, people didn't believe that it was possible, or if they did see it, they thought that there might be metal reinforcements inside. But now, since we've been doing this for 5 years, the public perception is actually really great. We have people who recognize that the bike is bamboo and appreciate that for its natural beauty, as well as its strength and resilience. So I believe the perception of bamboo and bamboo bikes is really changing.
And in the Bambike shop in Intramuros, here are some of the Bambikes proudly on display.
All of our bikes are for sale, and we have a number of different models. And here in the Philippines, they have a starting price of 15,000 pesos and up.
They certainly look unique and beautiful in an artisan way, but just how durable, reliable, and safe can they be to carry you from point A to point B in one piece?
We have had our bikes internationally certified by a third party. So we've tested the bikes for impact, fatigue, crashing, and personally I ride one just about every day. So they've had thousands and thousands of kilometers ridden, and we've had thousands of people ride them through Bambike Eco Tours Intramuros. So with our guided bike tours, we have a lot of people putting the bikes to test every day.
Actually, not all of these bikes that you see here at the Bambike shop located in Plaza San Luis complex in Intramuros are for sale. Some are for rent, as Brian says, for their guided bike tours. This is another wonderful idea of Brian, the Eco Bike Tours, which for now is only for the historic side of Intramuros. He plans to expand to more Bambike Eco Tours to other Philippine heritage sites as well as popular tourist destinations throughout the islands in the near future. For now, though, his distribution of Bambikes is slowly expanding throughout the country. He also doesn't have a full service center for Bambikes, but he says that the components for the bamboo bikes are very basic, so one can go to any normal bike center for mechanical problems. In this shop, the cheapest bike is 15,000 pesos and the most expensive one costs 65,000 pesos. His skilled workers under his watchful eye can make custom-built bikes depending on his customer needs. They can make road bikes as well as mountain bikes, and the price would depend on what customers want to install in their bikes. They also proudly adhere to international standards valid in the United States and Europe for their products. In fact, they are now exporting to other countries. The unique appeal of their bamboo bike is that all of them are handmade.
And then furthermore, there's the social component where we employ some of the people that need jobs the most, and we're reinvesting into the community. So Bambike really wants to take care of its people by sending kids to school and making sure that they are well nourished through our feeding program. And we also reinvest in the planet by planting bamboo and advocating for other green initiatives. And then we're also pushing towards progress. So in developing a new green economy through ecotourism and environmental product development, we're trying to show that it can be profitable for business to be done in what we believe to be the right way, where again we take care of the people and the planet.
The bamboo bike has trained a lot on Filipino craftsmanship, for which Brian has a high regards.
I think it's world class. I'm very proud of the work that our team has been able to do, and I'm very proud that it's a Philippine-made product. We've been very happy and fortunate to have been recognized just recently with the Kata Awards from the Manila Fame Design and Lifestyle Expo. And then we've also received recognition from various news and media agencies around the world as some of the most interesting and innovative products ever given to the White House and other heads of state, from most recently Jokowi from Indonesia and France, New Zealand, Barack Obama in the United States. So we take a lot of pride in the fact that our bikes are recognized as a progressive and well-made Philippine product.
We hope to see President Widodo, the bike riding president of Indonesia, riding the Bambike along the Indonesian streets, and US President Obama and his family riding the Bambike around the White House lawn. And why not Pinoy around the palace grounds as well? Meanwhile, Brian continues his wonderful saga.
So we're always working to innovate with new product development, and we're trying to make the Bambike more available to Filipinos and to customers abroad. We're doing this in two ways. One is that we're trying to expand Bambike Eco Tours to other destinations, and then we're also developing a more standardized Bambike model that we'll hopefully be able to produce at a larger scale and offer at a more affordable price.
Though they can only produce between 10 to 20 bike frames a month now, Brian hopes to scale up his production, expand his Eco Tours program, and increase his international distribution of this proudly Filipino product in spite of the numerous challenges, paramount of which are quality control and management of the supply chain. Every bamboo pole is different from the next one, and because the product is handmade, there lies the problem. They are now working on creating a more formalized bamboo industry where they can have a more standardized classification system and bamboo treatment. They are also now working with the Department of Trade and Industry to be able to work more closely with local manufacturers of bike components that can collaborate with Bambike so that they can eventually do away with imported components. They are also working with the Department of Tourism, the Department of Science and Technology, and the different universities like the University of the Philippines, De La Salle University, Ateneo de Manila, and Mapua Institute of Technology.
I think Bambike for me is a vehicle that will help bring the Filipino forward in terms of livelihood development, as well as health and wellness, and industrial or international competitiveness, and showcasing what it really means to be made in the Philippines.
We also noted the baskets on some bikes, and Brian informed us that they also support some basket weaving communities. They have a workshop in Victoria, Tarlac now.
I asked Gawad Kalinga which community in Tarlac needed the most help, and they told me that Victoria was one of those, so we went in there and have been working with them ever since.
But Brian isn't stopping here. More communities are slated for these workshops, and the next one could be Batangas.
I have some family ties there, and it's a place that I'd like to see develop, so we can work in north central and then southern Luzon and have a broader reach and be able to develop new products with more builders and create more jobs.
This proud Pinoy, who is only too happy to discover his Filipino roots, is extending this kind of invitation.
So we invite you to come check out Bambike here in Intramuros. We have our shop where you can check out our products, as well as take Bambike Eco Tours. So you can search us on social media. We're facebook.com/Bambike and /Bambike Eco Tours. We also have our website, www.bambike.com, and our Twitter is @Bambike. So please find some time. Monday we are closed, so anytime Tuesday to Sunday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. we're open, and we look forward to having you.
Whoever thought that one can ride a bamboo bike to school or to work? It took a Filipino-American to come up with this novel product. And we certainly hope that this super idea takes not only the country by storm, but the whole bike riding international community as well.